Okay everyone, so today I'm going to show you how to make a Hong Kong style or Cantonese style pan-fried noodles with chicken. Okay, so here are all the ingredients. I'll get to my seasoning sauces later. This is about 150 grams of noodles. These are the dried ones. You can also use fresh ones if you want. I use the dried ones because it just has a better texture for frying. Portion will serve about 3 to 4 people. And it's about the same portion as if I go to my favorite dim sum restaurants back in New York City. And then I have here 230 grams of chicken. That's a lot of chicken. If you don't want too much, I would just add about maybe 150 grams to 200 grams. And then over here is a major ingredient for this dish. This is 5 shiitake mushrooms soaked overnight in 1 cup of water. This is how the mushroom looks dry, by the way, if you've never seen it. And you want to use the water that you soaked your mushrooms in because this water is full of flavor and will really give a deep flavor to the sauce that pairs perfectly well with the noodles. And then over here is 100 grams of bean sprouts. And I have here about 70 grams. This is a Chinese choy sum, but you can use any green leafy vegetable that you want. And this is about 10 grams of chopped garlic. So before I get to the sauce recipe, I'll show you how to prep the ingredients first by marinating my chicken. So I'm going to start out by cutting the chicken into little thin strips. You can also use pork or beef. It's totally up to you. Place the sliced chicken into a bowl. And then I'm going to add the seasoning marinade for my chicken. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of salt, about half a teaspoon of ground white pepper, 1 teaspoon of Shaoxing wine, a teaspoon of light soy sauce, and about 2 teaspoons of corn flour or cornstarch. And then just give it a good thorough mix. So after this is mixed, I'm going to add a tablespoon of cooking oil. And then just give it one final mix. And then stick it into the refrigerator for about 5 minutes. While my chicken is nicely marinating away, I'm just going to chop up my mushrooms. Just thinly slice the shiitake mushroom. If you want to make this a totally vegetarian dish, really easy, just add more mushrooms and season the mushrooms the same way I season my chicken. And one final tip is that these mushrooms, when they rehydrate, they soak up a lot of water. So what you do is you just squeeze it lightly so that the water goes back into the bowl and it won't saturate this dish with too much water. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to make a sauce with this mushroom flavored water. I just need 3/4 of a cup of this water, just 3/4, alright? And just toss it out. And in goes 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, dash of ground white pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of pure sesame oil. This is 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. And here's 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. That's 1 tablespoon. And just half a teaspoon of MSG. And last ingredient is about half a teaspoon of sugar. And just mix it up. Alright, so now that this is done, all I have to do is par cook my choy sum and my noodles. Okay, so I'm just going to blanch my choy sum for about 30 seconds. And then just strain it and run it with cold water just to stop it from cooking. And with the same water, I'm going to drop in my noodles. Just cook it for about 45 seconds to a minute. And then strain it. And then just let it cool off. So one of the quickest ways for me to cool off my noodles and to give it a round shape that you often see with a pan-fried noodle is I would dump it into a salad spinner. And using a salad spinner is great because it helps dry out the noodles, and as I said, it gives it that nice round shape that we are all familiar with pan-fried noodles. And I just do it for about 30 seconds and it should be enough. And there you go. I've gotten rid of a lot of the water, plus it's, you know, a nice round shape, right? Okay, so now I'm ready to start cooking. I'm just gonna leave my chicken on my table, on my countertop, just to let it come to room temperature before I cook it. Because the first thing that I have to do is pan fry my noodles. Alright, so the thing about cooking pan fried noodles is that you can't use high heat. Right now I put my noodles onto a large plate and just sort of spread it out, making it into a round shape. And I've got my fire on a medium-low heat. And the thing about making this recipe is that you need to add a lot of oil. That's the real key to crisping up your noodles. And the way I like my noodles is for the outside to be really crispy and the center to be nice and chewy. So I'm going to spread around the oil. You can also use a regular flat pan if you wish. But I find that a seasoned wok is best at giving a nice crust to your pan-fried noodle. I just drop in my noodles. Just shape it a little bit, but I'm not gonna touch it too much. I'm just gonna leave it like this, but I'm also just gonna push it into the pan so that it sears the outside and gives it that really nice brown and black outer edge and crunchy edge that we always see at the Chinese restaurants. So I'm just gonna let it sit for 30 seconds and not touch it. And after the 30 seconds are up, I'm just gonna take a peek underneath. All right, I'm gonna show you, you see that? It's got like brown and black bits. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I like. So now that I see that's done, I'm gonna flip it. All right, check that out. And I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna leave it alone for 30 seconds and not touch it. Can you hear that? Nice and crunchy, right? Yeah. Okay, this is done. I'm gonna place it onto my serving plate. Perfect fit too. Check that out. Looks good, huh? So I'm gonna leave it aside. So with the same wok, I'm gonna set my heat on medium heat. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil. Throw in my garlic. And when my garlic turns brown, throw in my chicken. Just spread the chicken out and let it brown. In another 45 seconds to a minute, do it to the other side, brown the other side. And then toss in the mushrooms. Toss in the bean sprouts. And just cook the sprouts down for about 30 seconds. And then just mix your sauce, pour it in. Give it a mix. And now I'm going to make a slurry. You heard me talk about slurries a lot of times. This is what's going to help thicken up this sauce. Now, for pan-fried noodles, the sauce is slightly runny. So what I have here is 1 tablespoon of regular corn flour or cornstarch mixed with 3 tablespoons of water. And you only add this when this is boiling. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Just give it a mix. And I'm not gonna add all of it because I'm gonna eyeball it. If I need to add more, I'll add more later. So I just wanna eyeball the sauce and make sure that it's at the right consistency. All right, so I'm gonna take a good look at the sauce. There you go. You see? It's not too thick and it's not too runny. So at home, you have to do the same thing, okay? You have to eyeball it yourself and make sure that the consistency is the way that you want it. So I'm gonna throw in my choy sum and just mix it in. And that's it. When I see this and I smell this, I feel like I'm back in one of those dim sum restaurants that my parents would order this at a dim sum restaurant. I'm gonna taste the noodles first because I think that the noodles in this dish is the main ingredient. The sauce is really nice. The mushroom sauce gives it a really nice savory flavor. And I always like the contrast. The noodles outside is nice and crusty while the inside is really soft and chewy. Dig into a chicken. I can taste the Shaoxing wine. And for me, I always tell people that the best part of pan-fried noodles is this part. It's still crunchy and it's got a nice coating of sauce. This is so good. I'm gonna finish it all by myself. I'm even going to eat the vegetables. So everybody, give this a try. As you can see, it is so easy to make. I spent about maybe, 30 minutes? So in a way, it's faster than ordering takeout. But do support your local restaurants. Okay everybody, thank you for watching again. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. I enjoy reading the comments and suggestions, so do keep it up. So if you're home like everybody most these days, and you don't know what to make for dinner or lunch, or even breakfast, I'm eating this for breakfast. Try this dish out. It is so simple to make. I hope to see you all again next time. So thank you for joining me. Take care and goodbye.